Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your second Chelsea news video of the day. There's still nearly 40% of people that watch these videos that are not yet subscribed to this channel. So if you aren't subscribed, I'd love to ask you to do so. We're doing 2 videos a day right now, and we're in the US for the Club World Cup. I'm buzzing for it. Today, we've got to give the latest progressions in the Mike Maignan to Chelsea story. And I don't want to become too aggressively negative about this today, because right now, in terms of getting this deal done, there's a problem, and the problem is this. Chelsea and AC Milan are not close on the valuation for Mike Maignan. AC Milan want around 30 million euros. Chelsea won't pay that, as CFC value Maignan at 10 million, being out of contract in 2026. Chelsea won't wait longer than Monday, as they're also happy with 4 goalkeepers in their squad. I want to just show you guys this, because we might have 4 goalkeepers in the squad, but these are the goalkeepers that are registered. Sanchez, Jorgensen, Bettinelli, Bergstrom, Kepa, Petrovic, Sharman Lowe, Penders, Slanina, and then Mike Maignan, right? This guy, Robert Sanchez, not him. Mike Maignan is literally at the top of all of these keepers. He is better than each and every one of them. And at the moment, Chelsea have seen this as a market opportunity, okay? Which is why I'm not too concerned about this. Because when it comes to negotiations, be it a football transfer or negotiations for everything in life, if you highball, you pay the highest price. If you start low, that's what a negotiation is. Chelsea here have looked at the fact that Mike Maignan is supposedly open to the move, looked at the fact that he's got 1 year left on his contract, and AC Milan need money to raise funds for further transfers in the window. They probably don't want to let him go for a free. He's not looking likely to sign the contract. But Chelsea here, right? The reason I'm concerned about this isn't because I don't understand how negotiations work. I do. The problem is, we have seen the Michael Olise deal fall through when everything went public. We saw the Victor Osimhen deal fall through. Everything was out there in the public. Chelsea, in the end, didn't want to pay the money, and then other clubs swooped in. The worst thing that could happen here is that people and other football clubs, right? Because look, I'm going to say this. 29 years old isn't old for a goalkeeper. People are saying, oh, but there isn't any resale value. He's 29. He's nearly 30, George. You've got to remember that. Why does every player that plays for Chelsea need to be sold again in the future? There are certain players in certain spine positions that you shouldn't worry about reselling them. This is a goalkeeper that could absolutely be at the very top of his game at Chelsea for 5 or 6 years. That's half a flipping decade. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we should be skimping here. I do think we will come to some kind of agreement. And look, if Chelsea do manage to sign Maignan for 20 million euros, I think 30 million euros is a bargain. And I understand that only having that 1 year left on his contract, Chelsea are looking at this thinking, nah. We're not going to overpay here. We're not desperate right now, because we don't need to be desperate, because we have literally got all of these goalkeepers. Yes, Maignan is better than each and every one of those goalkeepers. But look, Chelsea are in a position where they are in the power here. Because look, AC Milan, they can keep rejecting the deals. But I do think Chelsea need to be careful. Because look, Manchester United, they need a new goalkeeper. Maybe Mike Maignan be wanted by them. There's not going to be an issue when it comes to the wages. But the fact it's the fee, I'm sorry, but 10 million euros is taking the piss. It's absolutely taking the piss. And look, there's also the concern that the player looks at what Chelsea are offering, looks at what Chelsea are willing to pay, and thinks, blimey, well, I know that it's a cheap deal anyway, because AC Milan wanted, 70, 80 million a couple of years ago. But 10? Come on, man. If we fumble this one, it's a world-class goalie in front of our faces. Yes, market opportunities are what we're hearing we're going for now. But this is an opportunity at 25 million. This is a goalkeeper that makes Chelsea such a better team, such a stronger club for years. Mike Penders right now is the young one that we're all thinking he's going to be the one to make it. Imagine learning off of the flipping ex-French goalkeeper captain. Do you know what I mean? He's a France goalkeeper. He used to captain the France national team, a team that have won the World Cup in the last 10 years, for goodness sake. Like, this is a top-level goalkeeper. Do I still think it's going to happen? Because I know a lot of you guys, like, come to this channel, you want to feed off of the excitement, you do want that emotion, you do want my thoughts on it. So I still think Chelsea get this done. I'm not panicking too much about this yet, but I do see this as like, you know, like if the cricket videos where someone catches the ball and then they're kind of like dropping it, goes into slow motion, and does it end up on the floor? Do they catch it? It's one of those, right? This for me is a no-brainer. This for me is a top signing that Chelsea should be absolutely all over. And if we don't get it done because we're not willing to pay, I'll say this as well. We're happy to go out and buy Matisa Mugu in January transfer windows for what, 20 million euros or something like that. And we're not going to offer that for my... I just can't accept that, I'm afraid. So I hope that we get this one over the line. I hope this is just rigorous negotiation tactic from Chelsea Football Club. But let's see what happens as we move. Victor Osimhen, latest news. And look, I'm not going to bait you here into saying he's going to Chelsea, but this is the latest regarding Victor Osimhen. Osimhen has received 2 formal offers from Galatasaray and Al Hilal. Galatasaray have prepared a salary of 15 million euros net per year on a 4-year deal and are ready to offer a transfer fee of 60 to 65 million. Al Hilal have submitted a mega proposal worth 40 million net per year. A decision on his future expected soon. Al Hilal can also offer football at the Club World Cup this season. 40 million euros. Let's get that back up on the screen again. That is serious money. I said it in today's morning video. I've given up on signing Victor Osimhen. He's not going to budge from the wages. We're not, if we're skimping out on 10 million, 20 million for Maignan or whatever, we're not paying Sancho 300 grand a week. We only wanted to offer him just over 100 apparently. So there's no way we can compete with these numbers. Yes, I'm disappointed, but at the same time, this is astronomical money. I think Liam Delap is a really good signing. Chelsea is still in the market for a second striker this window. But it's a shame. It's a shame for Sancho that it is money that's driving him. It's a shame for Osimhen that money is driving him. Not judging for it, I'm just saying it's a shame because I want to see someone of that caliber at Chelsea Football Club, but it's not going to happen. However, a player that is coming back to Chelsea Football Club, we're going to get some good news back in a moment, but this is the latest here. Raheem Sterling will return to Chelsea when his Arsenal loan ends on June the 30th. A conversation on his future is planned for this month with a departure anticipated. It's not expected Sterling will travel to America for the Club World Cup. If Sterling comes with Chelsea to the Club World Cup, I think this would be an absolute disaster. I really don't want to see this happening. I don't think it's going to happen, but Chelsea would do very well here to get Sterling's wages off the books. If we're talking about trying to save money, get that wage bill down even further, because that's the way we're ran these days, fair enough. And Raheem Sterling is one of those. And it's a shame because some of the experienced players that these owners have actually bought, Koulibaly, Sterling, these guys have been failed transfers. So I think we are actually going to always struggle here with the early days of how buying experience actually didn't yield results. But for Sterling, 0 goals this season at Arsenal in the Premier League. I think his time at the top of football is done. I think a move to Saudi might be good. He's obviously very much a family man. I respect that. I understand that. So he might look for a move potentially to like a lesser, smaller club. Might have to lower his wages in order to do so. Will Sterling be another one where he knows what he wants to get paid and he won't do anything other than get paid that amount of money? But anyway, I also want to remind you guys here, when it comes to the Mike Maignan deal, I want to talk about this again in this video because Chelsea, in countless moments in the past, we have seen ridiculously low offers come in for Chelsea players from AC Milan. You remember the days when they were negotiating to try and get Christian Pulisic through the door? I'd say that 20 million euros at the time was actually possibly a bargain. And there is a lot of similarities between the way that Chelsea are approaching AC Milan for this deal for Mike Maignan and also the way that AC Milan have approached us in the past for flipping Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Carney Chukwuemeka, flipping Pulisic, just to name a few. So I do see Chelsea here over the course of the next few days, I think if Maignan pushes for the move, that's what we got to hope for right now. If Mike Maignan is like, look, Allegri, don't care that you're the manager. I don't want to play at AC Milan anymore. I'm not going to sign this new contract. Chelsea want me. I want to go there. Can we work this out? If that happens, then I think Chelsea will find that middle ground with AC Milan to sign Mike Maignan. I want to talk again here about Mohamed Kudus because I watched back my video that I made quite late last night before I went to bed that you guys saw this morning. Check it out if you haven't already. And in that video, I'm talking a lot about the stats this season from Mohamed Kudus, completely disregarding the fact that he's been playing at a West Ham team that have been in disarray for the majority of this season. They started the season with Lopetegui, didn't work out. Graham Potter's come in. And look, Graham Potter isn't exactly renowned since he left Brighton for getting the most out of his attacking players. We had 38 flipping goals at Chelsea, for goodness sake. Like, it wasn't good enough. Mohamed Kudus is a very exciting player. And I don't want it to be, if you watched the video earlier today, I'm looking at 85 million and you can't avoid the goals and assists. But again, it is potentially a gamble that Kudus will explode at Chelsea. We've seen all of that innate raw ability that we saw at Ajax. We know the player that he can be. He's very strong. He's good when he drops deep. He plays all over the field, as you guys can see here with his heat maps. He can play on the right, play on the left. And I think he's a very interesting profile. And I think the more I actually look away from the stats, sometimes I'm like, I'm not looking at the stats. I'm purely driving off emotion. Other times I'm looking at the stats. Kudus would be a very good signing for Chelsea, in my opinion. But 85 million, I still think it's quite a lot of money. And this is the latest right now regarding Jamie Gittens. Negotiations are going well for Chelsea and Jamie Gittens. A first bid is expected soon, more than £30 million, with a little bonus to try and reach an agreement with Borussia Dortmund. And when we're talking about these words like opportunities, it's one of those things where, look, I obviously have said I wanted Chelsea to go out there, buy 4 or 5 elite players this summer, challenge for the title next year. Mike Maignan, opportunity. Don't screw it up. But Jamie Gittens as well, at 30 million. I think if there wasn't so much chopping and changing at Borussia Dortmund last season, I think Gittens would have had a bigger part to play. And as a result of that, I think his fee would have been even higher. I can see Gittens becoming a really good footballer. Ball striking, excellent. Beating a man, absolutely excellent. So 30 million, if this is the case, then I think this is very good business. This is the latest on Noni Madwki. Chelsea do not need to sell Noni Madwki, and he is not asked to leave. He is valued by Chelsea, and he stretches defences. Chelsea are not actively trying to sell Madwki. I said it again. I don't think Madwki should be sold. I think he is a player that is very frustrating. I think he is a player that kind of does blow hot, then he blows cold some other moments too. But to sell Madwki, I think would be a big mistake. And I also think there are other clubs right now in the Premier League that would want him, that we would then be strengthening rivals. I think he'd do very well at Newcastle, Noni. I think he'd be great competition for Jacob Murphy and would probably quite easily end up taking Jacob Murphy's place. With the way that Eddie Howe plays, very direct, his use of the wingers, I think Madwki would be very good there, to be quite honest. But I don't want him to be leaving Chelsea. Another player that we know isn't leaving Chelsea this summer is Andre Santos. And there's been some quotes that have come out. He's been called up to the Brazil squad. There is a lot of rumours right now that both him and Esteval might start for Brazil on Thursday, which would be very exciting. And we'll talk about that here on GBFC. This is what Santos had to say. In principle, I stay at Chelsea. I want to play. I want to have minutes to be able to earn my place in the World Cup. I want to consolidate myself in Chelsea. I want to play regularly and be an undisputed starter, win titles with this shirt. I love this. I love it when players talk about the Chelsea shirt as if it's something that they honour the opportunity to play in. And Santos, to me, is a player that looks at what his career ceiling could be. And he's like, no one's standing in my way. And yeah, I'm talking about Enzo. I'm talking about Caicedo. I don't think Santos is going to replace them quickly. But to have a player this hungry, who believes in that ability, the World Cup is next year, but he's adamant he wants to prove it at Chelsea. I love this. It would be so easy for Andre Santos, as a footballer, to panic and be like, well, I've got Caicedo and Enzo in front of me. I've got Cole Palmer in the 10 and we've got Asugo, we've got Lavia. What am I going to do? This guy wants to make it at our football club, and I am backing Andre Santos all the flipping way. I love his attitude. Loved watching him at Strasbourg last season. What a footballer, man. He also said this, which is very interesting. I spoke with Romeo and Moy. I'm anxious to get to Chelsea. When we talk about Chelsea, it's a matter of winning and fighting for all competitions. With the Club World Cup, it will not be different. We want to be the champions. I mean, for a guy that age to be a spokesperson that I'm listening to and being like, these are the kind of words, this is the language, these are the sentences that I want to hear in association with my club. I am buzzing. As much as the Mike Maignan news might not have been the ending to the day that we wanted today, if there is more updates, I will be letting you guys know here on GBFC. So, if you're enjoying these regular, every few hours Chelsea news videos, smack a like on this one, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Come on, you Blues.